423, I believe was the exact date, the Roman kingdom collapsed concerning the power it had over the world, but it still existed for another period of time before it was actually done with. But the church continued, and the church will never be destroyed. Any comment or questions? I don't want to leave anybody behind. Yeah, the Roman Empire, two different things went together to destroy the Romans, bring them down. Moral decay. I mean, sin was just rampant in Rome. The kings of the Roman Empire were homosexuals, many of them. And it took place, kind of like today. And the second is the barbarians who came down from the north. These tribes came in hordes against the Romans, one after another, and just broke them down. So those two things brought the Roman Empire to a stop. Okay, let's go back over to Daniel 2. I'm not sure we read verse 45. Daniel 2:45 says, "Inasmuch as you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it broke in pieces the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God has made known to the king what will come to pass after this. The dream is certain, and its interpretation is sure." And I believe that we are interpreting this with certainty, and our interpretation is sure. The church is doing this, and we are way in the minority of people who are not premillennial. And it gets going more and more sad that has been around for so long. But how many books have been written about the premillennial reign? How many preachers have done seminars and preached time after time again about the 1,000-year reign of Christ and different things associated with it? It goes on all the time. That's why we need to make sure that we understand about the prophecies concerning the church and how we can go and look at Isaiah 2 and Daniel chapter 2 and other places as well and show that the kingdom has already come and that the kingdom and the church are the same thing. Any other questions? Okay, let's look a little bit further. Let's go to Daniel chapter, well, we could look at so many places here in Daniel. Just let me look at some of the verses that occur here in chapter 4 of Daniel. This is Nebuchadnezzar's second dream that he had. And in this dream, it's a dream that shows him eating grass like an animal. And remember how that came to pass, that God kicked him out of the kingdom for a short period of time. 7 years, I believe. And, well, that's not a short period of time, is it? I'd hate to have to eat grass for 7 years. But look at what it says. Verse 1 says, "Nebuchadnezzar, the king, to all peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied to you. I thought it good to declare the signs and wonders that the Most High God has worked for me. How great are his signs and how mighty his wonders." Now notice what he says. "His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion from generation to generations." He once again is saying the same thing that we've heard before. In verse 13, he says, "I saw in the visions of my head while on my bed that there was a watcher, a holy one, coming down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus," this is an angel speaking, Now come on down to verse 17 of chapter 4. This decision is by the decree of the watchers and the sentence by the word of the holy ones, in order that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whomever he will and sets over it the lowest of men. He's showing that God is in control of everything. Not only is God the king in the kingdom which is the church, he is still the ruler, the sovereign over everything that's happening. You might ask, well, how come there are bad things that happen? Well, God is in that, working that out according to his good pleasure. It's a fulfillment of his will. He has not talked to me about it, and he hasn't given us a clear answer in the scriptures. We just have to know that he's working, and he's a good God, and we know that nobody's punished who doesn't deserve punishment in the Bible, okay? It's going to be the same thing with the judgment when everybody appears before Christ in the judgment day. If you have not been a faithful child of God, then you're going to be punished with everlasting punishment. If you are a faithful child of God, you're going to have everlasting life, eternal life. Look at later on in chapter 4, verse 34. And at the end of the time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to heaven, and my understanding returned to me. And I blessed the Most High and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. So once again, talking about the same thing that we've heard. Now, we could look at some things that are going on in chapter 5, chapter 6, but come over to chapter 7. There's something that's important here I want us to mention. There's another vision here, and Daniel is the one who has the vision. And this happens in about 553 BC. He said is in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon. And he sees 4 different beasts come up out of the ocean, come up out of the lake. And then he says the first one represents Babylon. The second one represents the Medo-Persians. The third one, the Greeks. And the fourth one, the Romans. It's the very same, and it's different different things that are in it, but it's the same kind of vision. Now come down to verse 9. I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. The Ancient of Days is God the Father. And the hair of his head was like pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame. Its wheels a burning fire. A fiery stream came forth from before him. 1,000 thousands ministered to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The courts was seated, and the books were opened. How many angels you think that is? I think 10,000 times 10,000 is 1,000,000, isn't it? But I'm not sure about 1,000 thousands. How much, that is. But we know there's a large number of angels in heaven that are worshiping God. Now come down to verse 13. He's still talking about his dream or his vision. I was watching in the night vision, and one like the Son of Man, that's the Messiah, that's Jesus, coming with the clouds of heaven, he came to the Ancient of Days. Now, premillennialists will say that Jesus is going to come with the clouds of heaven from the Ancient of Days. But notice this verse says, he's coming with the clouds of heaven. He came to the Ancient of Days. Now, where's the Ancient of Days? In heaven, God's throne. He's just described it in detail. So this is another part of the prophecy concerning the church that we need to understand and make sure that we don't have somebody run around us and put us down because we believe that. Thank you all for your help.